Welcome to Creation versus Evolution, topic 21, which is really just a continuation of topic 20. What about man's consciousness? There is solid, concrete data that suggests that our consciousness, our mind, surpasses the boundaries of our brains, which is exactly what the Bible teaches. It teaches that we are body and spirit. Christ instructed us to not be afraid of those who can kill the body, but who cannot kill the soul. In the New Testament, Paul wrote to believers that to be absent from the body was to be present with the Lord. It's very clear in God's word that when our soul or spirit leaves our body, that the body is dead. But if that spirit returns to the body, then the whole person comes back to life. Jesus' friends, Mary and Martha, and their brother Lazarus, who was also his friend, when Lazarus was dead for 3 days and Jesus called him back into his body, called his spirit back into his body, he came back to life, all of him. So the Bible supports this concrete data that suggests our consciousness is separate from our brain. Now, what do Darwinians claim? They claim that the brain is solely responsible for consciousness. Okay, so what is consciousness? Our conscious consists of sensations, thoughts, emotions, desires, beliefs, and free choice that make us alive and aware. It is the I, or the real you, the you that thinks and feels. I want to reread the Darwinist philosopher Michael Rous's quote from our last topic. He wrote, "Why should a bunch of atoms have thinking ability? Why should I, even as I write now, be able to reflect on what I am doing? And why should you, even as you read now, be able to ponder my points, agreeing or disagreeing, with pleasure or pain, deciding to refute me or deciding that I am just not worth the effort?" No one, certainly not the Darwinian as such, seems to have any answer to this. And he concluded, the point is that there is no scientific answer. So Darwinism does not answer this question. Barry Beierstein, a brain scientist, wrote, "As the kidneys produce urine, the brain produces consciousness." Okay, J.P. Moreland confronted that quote. Now, he has a chemistry degree from the University of Missouri and a doctorate in philosophy from the University of Southern California, among other things. And he's authored numerous books, including the book, The Life and Death Debate. And he spoke about Beierstein's comment. As the kidney produces urine, the brain produces consciousness, by giving 3 logical conclusions if Beierstein was right, if his statement was true. Number 1, there would be no disembodied intermediate state. According to the Bible, when we die, our souls leave our bodies and await the latter resurrection of our bodies from the dead. Our bodies decay, they fail to exist, but we ourselves, our souls, live on. This happens in near-death experiences. When people are pronounced clinically dead, sometimes they end up with a vantage point from above their bodies where they look down upon the operating table, see themselves lying on the operating table. Sometimes they gain information that they could not have otherwise have known while this is happening. One woman died and she saw a tennis shoe resting on the roof of the hospital. How could she have known this? How could she have known there was a tennis shoe on the roof of the hospital if Darwinism or physicalism is true? In Lee Strobel's book, The Case for Creation, he refers to 63 such stories. And you've probably heard of some yourself. You might even have experienced it yourself. Well, as far back as 1965, the psychologist John Beloff wrote in The Humanist that evidence of near-death experiences already indicates, quote, a dualistic world where mind or spirit has an existence separate from the world of material things. He concluded that this could present profound problems for humanism. Okay, number 2, if physicalism is true, then consciousness doesn't really exist, because there would be no such thing as a conscious state that must be described from a first-person point of view. That's because if everything is physical, it could be described entirely from a third-person point of view. And yet we know that we have first-person subjective points of view. Okay, third, there would be no free will. That's because matter is completely governed by the laws of nature. For example, a cloud, it's just a material object, but its movement is completely governed by the laws of air pressure, wind movement, and so forth. So, if I'm a material object, then all of the things I do are fixed by my environment or my genetics. That would mean that I'm not really free to make my own choices. Whatever's going to happen is already rigged by my makeup and my environment, meaning you can't hold me responsible for my actions. Thank you for joining me today.